Hey guys, welcome back to some more reviews. I am Horrorboy Forces 5, aka Nate Murphy, the Explorer for here. Welcome back to some more reviews. And today we're reviewing an action film, just to be a little bit different. I usually review horror movies, but today I'm reviewing an action film from 2015, but it got a release on April 8th, 2016 in the USA. And that is Hardcore Henry, which gets a 6.8 on IMDb. Written by Elia Nosholler. And basically, this is his first film. He directed a music video before this, which was shot similar, the same way. It was a POV music video, and studios had seen that music video and decided to give him the directing job, and him and as well as the crew, I believe, the same team that made that music video to make a feature film called Hardcore Henry. And I do believe the original title was called Hardcore, but then they switched to Hardcore Henry. And Hardcore Henry is an action movie I really enjoy. I'm definitely picking this up on Blu-ray when it comes out. It for sure deserves a Blu-ray pickup because it's an action movie that I really enjoyed. I really don't watch too many action movies just because, especially nowadays, some action movies catch my attention, some don't. I know there was a new Transporter movie that came out without Jason Statham, so that I was just like, whatever. I'm not seeing that. I'll watch a superhero movie, once in a while, but not too often. I'm not really a big fan of, superhero movies. I watch a couple of them if they're really good. I watched Batman vs Superman. At the time, I said it was okay. The more I think about it now, it's a pretty bad movie, Batman vs Superman. I do enjoy the Dark Knight trilogy. Batman Begins was decent. Dark Knight was pretty good, and Dark Knight Rises is actually my favorite one. Even though I do love the Dark Knight Rises was probably my favorite one. I thought that was a really good movie. Batman Begins was pretty decent. Thought it was okay. But definitely enjoyed Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises a little bit more than Batman Begins. The Amazing Spider-Man, I'm not a fan of. I didn't like it. The Avengers was pretty good. I wasn't a fan of Green Lantern. I thought The Incredible Hulk was okay. Hulk, the original Hulk movie sucked from 2003, I believe. That movie sucked. But I really don't watch a lot of action movies. But, this is definitely one I was interested in because I was interested in the POV aspect of the film. And the whole movie is shot through the point of view of the main character called Henry. And the directors handled this aspect very, very well. For being a POV movie, it's surprising not that shaky. It is a little bit shaky here and there. I mean, it's shot through a POV, especially when they're running or something like that, and whenever some of the action scenes happen. But surprisingly, compared to a lot of other films that are shot either, POV or, found footage, it's less shaky than most found footage movies. And I have seen a couple of POV movies. Well, I do remember I seen one POV, not really a movie, but it was a segment in the ABC of Death 1 or 2. It was actually a segment where it was shot through the POV of a vampire. A very, very interesting segment. I really enjoyed it. But I do remember that segment being a little bit shaky, being a little bit, like I said, just shaky. Here, you get a little bit of shakiness, but you can always tell what's going on in this film. There wasn't a moment in this movie where I was questioning, hey, what happened? What's going on? It was so shaky that I couldn't tell what was going on. No, I understood what was going on, 100% of the time. And, that was just very well done. The POV aspect brought a lot of cool things to it. And it brought a lot of interesting stuff to where it made me ask how they do that. Because when it's shot in a POV, it's all in the same frame. You can't cut away. Maybe you can hide some cuts in there, but you really can't hide the camera anywhere. And that's what I really enjoy about this movie is that you got a lot of practical effects, which I gotta give respect to the director and everybody involved in this movie that, they use practical effects. There's practical action scenes. There's no CGI. Stunts are amazing. A lot of cool ideas. It's a very basic film, but I think it works, very, very well. And I really enjoyed the score, the music. I really enjoyed the action. Really enjoyed the practical effects. I enjoyed the opening title scene where you're seeing people getting killed in slow motion and getting stabbed in the neck and then slowly seeing it go into the neck and come out the other side of the neck and people getting shot in slow mo. Very very cool opening credits scene and just a very very well done movie with some very well done stunt scenes, very well done action scenes. There's no CGI. It's all in frame, which is very difficult to do because POV movies or found footage films, they're all done in frame. Like I said, you can hide cuts here and there some places, but really it's all in frame. And that's what I really enjoyed is that in this movie it was just done, really really well done. It was just really well done. And I do enjoy found footage movies. I do enjoy some of them. I'm not really the biggest fan of the genre because you get your couple of bad ones. I'm a fan of Paranormal Activity 1. After that, the sequel sucks. Silver Part 5 or the spinoff, whatever. The marked ones. I actually don't hate that movie, but I do hate Paranormal Activity 2, 3, 4, and the new movie looks like it's going to be goofy. I didn't, I do like the Blair Witch Project. Trying to think of what found footage movies I've seen. I did enjoy As Above, So Below. Really enjoyed that movie. I don't know. I'm trying to think of all the found. There's been a lot of found footage movies. Quarantine was alright. I enjoyed Wreck more, even though I haven't seen Wreck all the way through. I did see it a long time ago, but I don't remember much from Wreck. I do remember it having a good atmosphere though. Quarantine was it was alright. It was meh. But I would definitely say though, out of the POV sort of found footage movies, Hardcore Henry is probably one of my favorite ones. I know it's not found footage, but it's sort of similar. It's a POV movie, but I would definitely say I haven't really seen any other POV movies, but I do know there's been movies where they had POV segments, like Doom, which I'm not a fan of Doom. I thought that Doom sucked. But it had a POV segment in there, which was pretty cool. There's been movies that done POV segments, but I don't really remember a movie that I seen that had a full POV, perspective of the whole movie. But Hardcore Henry is probably my favorite POV movie, which sort of similar to found footage, but it is my favorite. It is my favorite POV movie. And like I said, the story is very basic, but it works very, very effectively. You get the beginning of the movie where you're seeing sort of this weird scene in slow motion where you see these kids, and this one kid grabs a part of this machine and throws it against a wall in slow motion, really well done. And then you get the lead character Henry waking up in this sort of lab area, and you got that crazy scene where it's all practical, by the way, of somebody some of the character coming in who ends up he thinks it's his wife. And by the way, guys, this will be a spoiler review. If you guys have not seen Hardcore Henry, I would definitely go check it out first and then come back to this review. But spoiler alert, guys, I will be spoiling Hardcore Henry, so if you guys haven't seen it yet, you guys might want to exit the review, go watch it, come back to the review, do something like that. But I will be spoiling Hardcore Henry. But you get his girlfriend, not his girlfriend, but his wife. I think it was Estelle. I think it was. Well, you get his wife pretty much, because the cast here first build only. So, I mean, I don't know. You got Tim Roth playing Henry's father, who was at the slow motion scene in the beginning of the movie. And then you've got, I don't know, I think is it the Svetlana Ustanova? I can't pronounce her name that good. I don't know if it's her, but he pretty much wakes up out of this sort of sleep. He was, resting in this sort of tube of liquid, sort of, containment thing. And he wakes up and his wife pretty much tells him that, that he was her husband, and his name is Henry, and that he's basically been built with machines, so he has like metal knuckles, and they take these robotic arms and they twist it on his arm, and they put skin on it, and it's all done in the same shot. So I don't know how they did that. It was very well done. And then the legs, they get screwed on, skin sprayed on, again all in the same shot. It's amazing how they did this. And pretty much he goes out into this other part of the lab, and they tell him that he needs pretty much a voice box. And this guy ends up coming in and interrupting this part of ends up interrupting them, trying to give Henry a voice. And he pretty much, I do believe his name was his name Oleg Pulnavi? I don't think so. But I do know that this guy, he pretty much looks like, I do agree with most critics out there, he pretty much looks like Kurt Cobain, a bad guy, who looks like, he's pretty much a bad guy who looks like Kurt Cobain. And I do agree with people, he does look like Kurt Cobain, he really does. Remember Afterlife, Matt made a good point, he does look like Kurt Cobain. But he comes in, and he's able to use sort of, he uses, from Friday the 13th Part 7, the character in that movie, she uses mind powers, telekinetic abilities, telekinesis, whatever. I think it is telekinesis. And pretty much, the lead bad guy in this film can use those powers, and he's, lifting people up and, slamming back on the ground and, killing people with gravity, not with gravity, but, with this force, with telekinetic abilities, and pretty much ends up going in there, killing a couple of the scientists in there, kidnapping Henry's wife. Henry, well, not kidnapping her, but Henry and his wife end up trying to get out of there. They get into an escape pod. They get shot down to the ground because they were pretty much in the spaceship sort of thing. And they land, pretty much Henry's wife, that's when she gets kidnapped. And it's just a POV, straightforward action film where it's Henry trying to get rebuilt, and he meets this character. Called. He's played by Sharlto Copley, and he's been in a lot of movies before. He's been in District 9. He played the lead guy in that movie. Chappie. He's been in a lot of movies, and I do remember in District 9 him doing a pretty good job in that movie. I do remember thinking that movie was okay. It was alright, but I do remember him doing a good job in that movie. But you got this character called Jimmy, played by I can't speak today, guys. I'm so sorry. Sharlto Copley playing Jimmy. And pretty much when Henry meets this character, he's trying to get the character Henry out of there, and he gets shot in the back. He gets shot in the back of the head, and blood sprays everywhere. And it's a very shocking scene because he's trying to help him out. He's like, "All right, well, this is what you need to do. You need to reboot. You need to get your system charged up." And then, boom, gets shot in the back of the head. Practical effects. Henry gets out, runs. He's on the run. He gets on a bus. He sees another Jimmy character, and the Henry character, and the audience is just wondering what's going on. And then that character tells him that he has to go find this other guy and kill him and get this charge for his pretty much, because Henry's pretty much battery, I guess, is running out of power. So it goes to the Henry character is getting ready to go to this place to fight this dude and to get this charge for his heart, I believe. His heart, or just for his battery or something like that. I can't remember. But the Jimmy character gets flamethrowered again. And then pretty much it's about Henry. He goes there, fights the guy. They have a little chase scene. Really well done action scene, and really well done chase scene as well. And he's chasing the guy, ends up, getting him caught, ends up catching the guy. And, the guy ends up going, "Wait, I can tell you something, Top of his head gets blown up by a sniper rifle. Henry runs. I believe he actually gets the charge, charges himself, runs, and pretty much he is basically from there on trying to figure out who this Jimmy character is. and you got a couple action scenes, and then pretty much Henry gets from the help of Jimmy trying to help find his wife. And on the way, trying to find his wife, the Jimmy character ends up getting killed, and ends up dying. And then the Henry character goes up to the rooftop of this building, and you find out that the twist is that Henry's wife really wasn't his wife. Henry was programmed to think this, and then the wife told Henry, who would be in this big line of, sort of cyborgs, that his wife was this character, and that pretty much the bad guy and his wife, they're pretty much boyfriend and girlfriend. And throughout the movie, the lead bad guy, he's like rubbing and saying, "Oh, your wife, she was so sweet in bed," and stuff like that. And you really, really hate this bad guy. Really, the guy who played him did a really good job playing this bad guy. But you pretty much get the scene where he's using telekinetic powers to fight Henry, and then he lets all these other cyborgs out, and you have an amazing fight scene. Henry just breaking people's legs, breaking their arms, punching them and grabbing them in the fans, people getting blown to pieces, shot to pieces, headshots, practical fighting, practical, effects, practical gore, really, really awesome fight scene. And then, pretty much, Henry gets beat up and tossed to the floor. That's when he gets told that his wife isn't his wife, that he was pretty much programmed that, and that all these other cyborgs are getting programmed with that as well. And then the Henry character gets a flashback to when he was human, and you got his father saying, "Come on, get up, you wussy." And then pretty much the only time you see Henry in the movie is through a reflection, and you see him put barbed wire on his fist, gets back up, grabs the dude, punches the bad guy, and he ends up using telekinesis to make them fly up in the air. And the crazy scene where Henry takes his eyeball out, wraps around the guy's mouth, and pulls it, and the top of his head just comes off practical effects. Then the Henry character ends up jumping into a helicopter and, punching, not really punching, but I guess pushing his wife, or she got knocked. She pretty much got, because she shot the Henry character, and the bullet reflected off of his hand, and she ended up getting shot. She falls out of the helicopter, she grabs on the side of it, and she goes, "Oh, Henry, please don't kill me." It's an awesome scene where Henry grabs the top of the helicopter, door, and slams it down, and she falls down, end credits. So it's a very, very, very straightforward, very basic action movie, but it works very, very well. The POV was very neat, very, very cool, really enjoyed it. Acting was really good. Characters were really memorable, like the Jimmy character and lead bad guy. And practical action scenes, practical gore effects. It's rated R. Practical fight scenes. Like I said, the POV aspect was really cool. Really neat ideas. Really inventive film. And it just shows that you don't need CGI and stuff like that to make a great action movie, because this movie was great. I really enjoyed it. And I'll definitely pick it up on Blu-ray when it comes out. And it definitely does feel like a video game-ish movie. You feel like you're watching, a real Call of Duty, or a real, kind of reminded me of Dying Light, where you're jumping around, you're jumping on buildings, stuff like that. Kind of reminded me of Dying Light. And it kind of reminded me of a video game and a movie. But it was very well made, very well done. Really enjoyed Hardcore Henry. And yeah, so thanks for watching my review of Hardcore Henry. And I'll see you guys on the next review. Bye, guys.